welcome to another episode of Ducks Quax at Microsoft Ignite. How's the conference so far for those that join us? Pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, it's awesome. There's so much to learn, so much to see. It's just hard to pick which session to go to.
The real question is how much we remember.
That's why I'm taking notes on OneNote.
OneNote, that's good.
Yeah.
A lot of great announcements in these last 2 days, and I'm very excited, very privileged for me to have Tamara with us today. And Tamara, why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody what you do, and really just share a general feedback of how you think the conference has been.
Sure. Well, my name is Tamara Bredemus, and I was recently hired on with the city of Minneapolis to bring SharePoint to the internal users. Now, luckily, we are on O365, so I have a very unique experience in that we don't have an on-premises SharePoint environment.
So, well, 1 second, that's quite unique. You're with government and you're using cloud. That's like an oxymoron. How did that work?
Well, a lot of people think that their information isn't secure
Right.
up in the cloud. And it is. It's more secure than it'll probably be in your on-premises environment because Microsoft is doing so much with encryption and protection. And the fact also that we're on the G3 licensing
Sure.
as opposed to the enterprise licensing, although that is really secure also.
Well, 1 second,
Don't get me wrong.
G3 is not a private jet, that's G7, but what's G3? Can you explain to everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
G3 is the licensing that government agencies go through when they go to O365.
Sure.
And what it means is that I'm not as technical as some people,
That's
but
all right.
that the environment where our information is housed meets with all of the governmental requirements for protection of information.
Exactly, and for those that don't know this, Microsoft's cloud environment, Office 365 and Azure, has a somewhat of a dedicated environment for U.S. public sector, which is FedRAMP approved, and it's approved by a lot of different agencies. And in case you don't know, the Microsoft cloud environment is the only cloud environment that's been approved by, around the world, a lot of government agencies. So as a great public service announcement, it's much, much more secure than you would have even ever thought. I guess it's much more secure in your own environment, right?
Yes.
The cloud is, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So what do you think of the conference so far, Tamara?
It is awesome. It's like drinking from a fire hose. There is so much fabulous information,
Sure.
so many great sessions to go to, and those are wonderful and they are recorded. But the thing that I'm getting the most out of
Sure.
is meeting other people who are using these tools, comparing notes and getting tips and tricks from people who are actually using it in their day-to-day business.
I think that's called social networking, right?
Oh, but I'm not using an interface except for this interface.
This is like the real social networking.
This is what my parents talked about.
That's right, talking, what a concept, yeah?
Crazy.
So now, let me ask you this. In spite of all this goodness, great things coming out, Office 365, 2016, you're still with a public sector entity. So how much of this can you apply when you go back?
Well, a couple things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the announcements that have been made here
Sure.
and making sure that our architecture, along with our information architecture and how we're also setting up all the different things that interact, will be set up in a way that we'll be able to take
Right.
advantage of these new rollouts, as opposed to going back and having to reverse engineer
That's right,
everything.
that's right. So before we end, 2 more questions. If you can tell everybody watching this, especially in the public sector arena, as to how to think about cloud, collaboration, and all these new types of technology, what's your key message to them? Like, continue doing what you're doing, jump onto this new thing. How would they make sense of all these goodness so that they can deliver not only services internally to their own agency, but also better serve their constituents as well?
I would probably mention that when you go on to O365, you can reduce the amount of time that you spend keeping your environments up and running and functioning, and then you can really focus on your business needs and roll out solutions in a lot more aggressive way.
That's right. So instead of worrying about, deploying the service pack, backing up and all that, just let Microsoft worry about keeping the lights on, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what was in my head. Microsoft keeps the lights on so I can keep my users happy.
There you go. Now, last question. Since this is Ignite, we're covering a lot of great, wonderful Microsoft products. If you were a Microsoft product, what would you be?
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to have to go with Sway.
Are you a good dancer?
I can swing dance, I can Argentine tango, but what I like about Sway is it really does a professional and polished presentation.
That's right.
To really engage their users or the people who are consuming the information. And I hope I can be a little bit like Sway.
There you go. You've heard it from Tamara, City of Minneapolis. Cloud is the way to go. So thanks again, Tamara. And watch for the next episode of Ducks Quacks. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.